Hello and welcome to the United Devils YouTube channel. Today we'll be discussing the transfer of Jude Bellingham from Birmingham to Manchester United. Uh, so, a lot of reports have been going around recently linking Bellingham to United, and with this COVID situation, a lot of things have changed. So, we'll be taking a look at all of that in this podcast, and it contains everything you need to know regarding the transfer that is bound to take place. So, first up, who is Jude Bellingham? He is a 16-year-old youngster in Birmingham who's had his debut this season and plays central midfield for them. Despite being a central midfielder, he also plays right midfield and left midfield as well, and he's been amazing for Birmingham. He's had excellent composure, and just the fact that he's a 16-year-old and he's already broken through into the team, and he's raising eyebrows everywhere, and a lot of big clubs are interested, says a lot about him and his footballing abilities. He shows a lot of composure over the ball and is extremely creative. He's not afraid to go forward. So he'd be perfect playing alongside like-minded players like Bruno or Pogba. Uh, Bellingham has had 4 goals and 3 assists in 32 appearances, and while 4 goals and 3 assists don't sound like a lot, uh, he essentially plays in central midfield and doesn't get a lot of goal scoring opportunities. Also, we need to consider that he's a 16-year-old and Birmingham are currently 16th in the championship. So, uh, if they have an outlet that's giving them 7 goal opportunities from central midfield, that's amazing. To put it into perspective, look at how many goals Fred has for us, despite playing at the highest level of football. And he's Bellingham is often referred to as one of the best talents to rise through the ranks in English football, and the fact that he's just 16 just proves my point further. So the next part, let's take a look at what the reports are and will he really sign for Manchester United, or is this one of those transfers that is used to get clicks for companies and tabloids? Uh, so yeah, by the initial looks of it, it looks like he will definitely sign for Manchester United. Initially, the competition was between Manchester United and Borussia Dortmund, even though Arsenal were showing some interest in him. But I think Manchester United are doing their fair share in trying to entice him. They got him and his family over to Carrington and gave him a tour of Carrington. And not just that, this tour was led by Sir Alex Ferguson. And for a 16-year-old boy who probably grew up watching Ferguson's United, must have been just a dream come true walking on the same ground as Ferguson. Uh, so yeah, that works as a huge plus in our favor. Uh, Another reason why this transfer seems to be in United's favor is that due to this pandemic, Birmingham are making a lot of losses, and because of this, they want money up front, and United are willing to do that. United have already got a structured plan in place in order to settle this negotiation quickly. However, this structured plan contains more uh, more bonuses and lesser down payment. So that is something that might cause a little friction initially, but I think our offer is still better than the other ones that will be coming in. So maybe if United reduce the amount in bonuses and increase the down payment, Birmingham are likely to accept it because they need money immediately. Another thing that makes a difference over here is that Bellingham is only 16 at the moment and he turns 17 on the 29th of June, and he cannot sign a professional contract before he turns 17. So currently he's on a scholar program. So there are two options for Birmingham. Either they give him a pro contract. If they do give him a pro contract, they can uh, they can charge a sizable fee from Manchester United in terms of transfer. But if they do give him a scholar contract, in that case, they'll have to they're only entitled to a certain share because they've uh, trained him since he was 8 years old. So in that case, they won't be entitled to a sizable transfer fee. So they'd probably look to get him on a contract as soon as possible. I think the minute he turns 17, there'll be a contract on the table. So that is one thing United need to be wary of. I'm sure they are. So let's see how he'd fit in with the United squad. So currently our options in midfield are pretty good. We've got Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba, Fred, Matic, McTominay, all doing a good job in midfield. Though the midfield was pretty dead in the beginning of the season, but as soon as we got Fernandes in, and now with Pogba back, our midfield looks great again. So I think Bellingham might have a little difficulty breaking into this squad, but I think Solskjaer would love to give him a chance in the League Cups and the FA Cup. One thing that has to be noted is we aren't signing Bellingham for him to be featuring in the for him to be featuring in the youth and the reserve teams. Solskjaer wants him to slot in immediately and start training with the first team and start trying for his spot in the first team. So that is something that needs to be noted. That my opinion about Bellingham would be that we need to loan him out to Dortmund at first, since he's just 16, because he'll have trouble breaking into the first team, because it's not easy trying to break in when you have teammates like Pogba and Fernandes, because that's going to be difficult for any footballer, and he's just 16. So I think he needs playing time at the moment. So if we loan him to Dortmund contingent on the clause that he plays n number of games a season compulsorily, then I think it's a benefit for both United and Dortmund. And maybe, just maybe, we could make Bellingham sort of make weight in the Sancho deal, so as to slightly reduce the fee, because since all clubs are making losses, even Dortmund won't probably play hardball for Sancho. That just get the money, about 120 million, and if they get Bellingham for a few years on top of that, they'd be great. So maybe we could send Bellingham over there for a couple of years. He can play Champions League football. He could play in the Bundesliga, start every week, and become one of the best midfielders. And then we can get him back at United, and he'll immediately start into that midfield over there. So that's it for this time. We've written an article on the same topic, that is the Bellingham transfer, a few weeks ago. Make sure to check that out on our website. And if you have any other topic suggestions, do leave that in the comments. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.